have a little way in as,
That's right.
as experts here. Like,
Hello,
he's an
TSD.
attorney,
I
he
was
wants
just
his
coming off
expert opinion,
mute real quick
which
to do a
makes
mic
sense,
check,
right?
and then
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock, I'll
We don't
call this
wanna just
meeting
leave
to
it.
order.
Okay, yeah, I heard you.
You can type in the chat or let me know. If
Yeah,
you
I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. It looks like we'll be starting promptly at 4, just to give you a heads up. Thanks for bearing with us. I'll go ahead and call us to order, call the Monroe County Surveyor Review Board meeting Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. Wow. To order. We have approval of the agenda. Everything seems pretty good. To me, I don't have any additions.
Were you planning to strike the one corner you mentioned?
I just figured we could just table when it came to it. And that will keep this conversation fluent versus removing it.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and since we have all members are physically here and we have no members visiting online, I guess I could do this by output or by voice vote.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion pass. We'll move to approval of minutes from March 21st, 2023, and I looked those over today, and I thought I feel so bad for Donna to sift through all of, the conversation, when we get real granular and start talking about survey jargon and minutia of what's going on. She's done a tremendous job of pulling out the content that is very valuable to document. And just wanted to let her know that I was very appreciative of being able to refer back to the minutes and find exactly what is really relevant and needed to be documented. So that's my only comment. I don't have any edits or suggestions. Okay. Anyone else?
Motion to approve the minutes.
All right. Motion?
I wasn't there.
You weren't here. Okay, you
I
could,
can still second the
you could
motion.
second that and recuse yourself if you
Okay,
like.
I'm the second motion.
Okay, and I'll call roll. Rachel Ozer.
I'll recuse myself.
Okay, Eric Deckard.
Yes.
All right, and minutes are passed. Thank you. We'll go to new business. Office update. To try to keep this in a timely manner, I'm gonna really just run through a couple things and maybe spend a little more time on the last part. Things are going great. We visited we visited a space on the north end of the showers. This has been a discussion that has been ongoing since 2018, 2019 about addressing our space needs. As our office was growing and then we restructured the GIS coordinator and then created the survey technician, I had moved myself into the annex area, which is cozy enough, but not ideal for a workspace for anybody, but especially not my staff. So I took the space to make sure that everyone had a good working space. And yesterday we toured the potential new location and pretty excited. We'll see as far as when the timeline starts to present itself and we actually get moved over, but I feel pretty optimistic and I'm hoping within 2 to 4 months we're in a location that will be somewhat suitable for, quite a while. So it has room for a little bit of growth, a room for us to bring in an intern and room for us to even host this meeting. So I'm really excited.
All the file cabinets too.
And there's discussions. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself about bringing other valuable records that are very important to how the surveyor office conducts business. That could be an added benefit for other county offices, but until we get further into that conversation, that's really all I have to say. Rachel probably knows a lot about reading in between the lines on that statement since she worked there for 3 years and knows exactly what records are in that annex room that could be very valuable of kind of centralizing them and putting them closer to other county departments that utilize them. So also, I'll just say that I continue to move forward the idea of having a area that is meant for digitization and efforts. So my goal is to get equipment where we can scan documents and start to archive them and potentially continue to build out the survey utility by linking them onto the utility. So that's going to be really exciting to have a central location where we can do a lot of collaborative efforts with kind of archiving our records and making them more utility purposed.
Which records are you talking about there?
Currently, well, that goes into the discussion where we haven't really had it with the other office, but in the annex, there's a whole subset of survey related documents that call out section corners and other kind of
You're talking about the
easements.
attic part of the attic, not the annex part, but past the annex. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And the goal is to, once we have this location where we could potentially start archiving more records, that other departments will utilize it. So my goal is to create a space. So we have the option to start archiving records that are very important to the public land surveying system and just property owners.
When you're talking about getting a big scanner, basically.
I'm talking about potentially using corner funds to offset some of the impact to get the right equipment to do this work. So we'll see how that works out. There's a lot of moving parts. We're still not really sure exactly, how much of a budget there is for furniture and filing cabinets, but one goal I have is, and have had, is the fact that I want to get better filing cabinets that are kind of more weather resistant and protected by, potential events like a fire or sprinkling system going off. I really want to protect these documents, and I'm willing to try to offset some of the costs if needed to get the appropriate filing cabinets and stuff. Outside of the filing cabinets and stuff, I'm not willing to kind of share on any cost expense because that's more of an operational cost and it doesn't really go to the perpetuation. And I need these documents to really kind of have that evidence to go out and perpetuate the county the way that I feel like is intended. So I'm willing to put money into the efforts of scanning documents that relate to the public land surveying and getting filing cabinets that can protect those documents. So
I think you guys should put it, I don't know if it's on the list, but the legal survey books and the original survey books, the scans aren't great.
right.
The quality is a little
Yeah.
bit fuzzy on some of them. You got the hands in there. I just got a quote for getting the Green County book scanned by US Imaging. That's who does like most of the reporters work, and they have a mobile thing. They drive up and they have scanners in the truck.
Mhm.
So everything's like on site, big book scanners. And it ended up, the quote ended up being like less than $300 per book. And that's like for enhancing the images too,
Mhm.
which seems like a pretty good deal.
No, it sounds like a great deal.
Definitely like worth looking into just having that professionally done, because it would only take, like, they would only be doing it for a few hours.
Right.
One day, all the books are done, they give them back to you, they're enhanced named images,
And that's the goal is, to continue this effort and ultimately create a space for departments that may not have available funds, and especially if it's kind of not necessarily piecemeal, but we're only accessing that document when it's needed. I want to create that space so other departments can come in there and scan that work, and we can start to kind of preserve it in a way where it's more accessible and easier to find, and it's not so disconnected to this, the departments that need it. But what was the name again, just for
it's
Donna?
US Imaging.
USMG. Okay,
Yeah, I can send you the guy's email that just got me a quote.
that'd be nice, yeah.
So can they do the large format stuff too?
Yeah, that's what, oh, well, are you talking about like big plats?
Mhm.
I have no idea, because I was only asking for a quote for,
For those little books,
Yeah,
well,
for
no,
those blue ones.
no, the big legal survey books in the county surveyor's office, not the blue ones. Those are copies of the books,
Mhm.
and they're messed up.
Yeah,
They're bad copies of the books, and then the bad copies of the books were scanned.
yeah,
So the scans are like sometimes usually legible, but not always.
right.
And one of the books, they took loose leaf papers and then they bound the loose leaf papers. So the writing was up to the margins and they put the binding like that. So you can't read the,
Mhm.
like what corner. It'll say like all the witnesses, but not, you can't tell
You
what
can't
corner
tell
is.
what corner it is, yeah.
Yeah. So that book has to be actually cut open. The binding removed and then the loose leaf pages scanned, and that was part of the quote that they gave me, was part of doing that too. And it still worked out.
And bind it back together.
No, it doesn't have enough like page left to bind back together without doing that again. So the idea of that one is to put it in an archival box once it's scanned and then just put it away.
Mhm.
But yeah, these are the books are like about the
Gotcha.
size of the Monroe County Legal Survey books,
Gotcha.
like about 11 by 17 or 12 by 18 or
I was
something
gonna
like
say
that.
12 by 18.
Yeah.
They seem a little bit bigger than 11 by 17.
But each page,
Mhm.
yeah,
So,
yeah, slightly bigger than 11 by 17.
so yeah, thanks for the suggestion, recommendation. We'll look into that. And to your point, the goal is to create a space where we can even do scans on larger size and maybe even have a plotter printer that can scan as well as something that sits above top that just kind of takes a shot of the image. There's a lot of different,
I don't know, I've
you know,
looked into
equipment out there.
those, right.
It's costly.
The
It's-
recorder
it's-
has a really nice book scanner.
They gave that away and we asked for it. I'm not sure what office.
They gave it away to, ooh,
Not sure. Remember we asked and they put it out for a freebie pick me up if you wanted it and we asked to grab it and maybe,
the one they've been using all the time, but they just did all the grant work maintenance.
maybe, I can't speak
I don't know.
exactly.
You know, since Dodge Pop, I don't go in there very often to see.
Yeah, well, Eric just told, I asked him to scan the legal survey, I mean, the original survey plats are over there. And you guys have a copy of them, but it's missing one of the township pages. So I asked him if he could scan that one page that was missing, and then I was like, actually, why don't you scan the whole book? You got this new book scanner, he was gonna do
They
it.
might have a new one and they were giving away the old.
This one that they have is like really, really nice in the back room, and they've only had it for like 2 years or.
Okay.
They had an old one.
Then they're probably giving away the old one. I mean, I can't speak to it, like, we only go there every now and then to pick up some physical records, which those aren't even that much. They've gone very paperless over there.
Right.
So, but we'll move forward from kind of that. I think it's a good discussion because really, I think we have the ability to look at how the surveyor office is going to function, not just today or tomorrow or the remainder of this year, but how it might shape up in the next 4-8 years from now. And I'm really trying to put a lot of thought into this because the way I go about it is, you know, I don't want to come back to this discussion in 4 years. I rather plan accordingly, so we already have these things in place and it's just easier that way. So
Kind of similar to you. I mean, just real quick, it would be interesting to see what a contractor would charge you to scan it. Cause it's like, once you get the scans all done, it's like, well, then what do you have use for the machine for? You know where I'm going at with that. I mean, I looked at it at my office and I've kicked tires about it and I'm still thinking about some of them, because my granddad had a ton of stuff that needs scanned, really does, but
Yeah, the scanning is so much
But-
work. I mean, I look at the
but-
book scanner and you guys only have 6 books. And then like, who even has books? The auditor, that's who needs the scan books next. But they really need to hire that out probably because it's so cost effective
and
to have a
yeah,
company do it, you know, rather than have to like hire an employee to do it for 1 or 2 years. And then like, what's their job after?
well, see, that's the thing. It's not meant to have a full-time position doing it. It's meant to create a space, so these things don't build up where, you know, then we're looking at like a stockpile of things that need to happen. And me seeing the way that we go about this is very dicey. And if we create a space, I think the utilization of that space will be valuable, because we can do this as we're going through it versus needing to do a bulk project. You know, if it's just a one-off scan of, you know, a survey with multiple pages, they can use this area, you know, digitize it, archive it, put a naming convention, put it in their relative folder, and then it can live there. Versus the way that we have it set up now, where we actually don't have the right scanning equipment and we kind of have to feed it through a plotter. And with some of these records, they're in disarray. And if you start trying to feed them through there, it's, you know, we could, you know, ruin the document. And so, again, we'll we'll be piecing this together, but in a manner where I want it kind of fully kind of thought out prior to our move. And it's just a goal because, the way that, funding occurs, that if there's not a funding source and then there's not an option or space to do this, then the work won't get done. And it's just with my 18 years at the county, I see the value of creating a space where someone can do this type of work in-house if needed. Or, the last thing I want to do is go on a mission to, advocate for every department to get allocation from the council to do this type of work, even though it could be very valuable, but then it's up to the discretion of that department moving it forward versus saying, here's the space. If you want to do it and have time, you can use it. And I'd rather to move in that direction. But your points are valid. I see I hear what you're saying, but I think there's an indefinite need for this type of stuff.
And that's the thing you gotta weigh.
Yeah,
That's the thing you gotta weigh.
and it's,
There's that records budget too for I'm just thinking of I'm really keep thinking about the book scanner, because there's only so many books.
oh, yeah,
But there's so many books at the showers in that, whatever they call that archive,
mhm.
but that's all. There's a whole record budget for that, right?
Right, and I'm
Like
not
for
gonna
those
be doing
records,
the
so-
scanning
So maybe those people who have that records budget chip in on
on
on the book
equipment costs.
scanner.
Mhm.
Book scanner costs like 13 grand.
No, I know. And
A
I'm
lot.
going on a cost share approach.
I'm just thinking you only have 6 books. That's a lot. But there's a ton, you're right, there's hundreds of books that need to be scanned
Mhm.
at the county.
Well, and then it's all the other valuable records that have been buried over the years that don't see the light of day unless, there's another development going on that site. That would be very valuable to scan. So, well, let's move forward so we can hit our
Yeah.
timeline. There
So-
was another update that I wanted to share, and it's Senate Bill 242. Is anyone aware of Senate Bill 242?
Bolivia's.
It's DNR's best available data discussion, and they want to kind of remove that because area planners and floodplain coordinators have to use the best available data. And so some of what they're moving forward might take that out of kind of some language that it's required, but from my understanding in my conversation with our assistant director of planning yesterday, that as long as local policies and ordinance have adopted these measures to use the best available data from DNR, that's still applicable, even if Senate Bill 242 moves forward, but they added a new element in there. And this is kind of wearing my GIS hat, but also there's a lot of overlap in it. They do say that this pertains to this particular bill, but they're identifying LiDAR as like something that has so much uncertainty that is the best available data, really good data. And everyone knows the FEMA floodplain maps have a level of uncertainty there, and they use the LiDAR too to kind of produce that product. So my concern is that they start pushing towards LiDAR not being adequate for this best available data for DNR. Does that then put a chip in LiDAR, and LiDAR is used in your profession as a survey product? So it's like, what happens if they start looking at LiDAR as, hey, this data is a little wishy-washy? Does that open up the use of LiDAR in other places, even though the bill says it's strictly pertains to this bill for the DNR best available data? But I think it opens up a concern of mine where they might start looking at how LiDAR is applicable in other professions, and then imagine not being able to use LiDAR, and imagine the effects that's going to have on identifying watersheds, and other, things that are useful. So I just want to bring it to your attention. We met with the DNR Water, Department of Natural Resources Water Division, director yesterday in our executive meeting with IJIC. And I brought up that he needs to reach out to ISPLS and kind of maybe talk about the fact that they're identifying LiDAR as, a concern to use the best available data. And I'm not sure if the surveying profession wants to mobilize around any of this, but I do find it problematic if we're going to if we're going to look at it, in a way where we're questioning it here, but we're still using it over here within professions and other uses. And it's not, I don't really have too much as far as a discussion or dialogue to offer, except for my concern, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention that this is kind of the discussion taking place, and this was a conversation we had yesterday, and they asked us to maybe formulate an opinion within 2 days, and our government affairs committee is on hiatus, so we're not in a position to formulate an opinion, but I felt like I would share it today. I use it on a daily basis, the floodplain portal and stuff like that. I mean, it is a really awesome tool to be able to extract that information. And I didn't know whether, what I was reading the other day with it, if they was referring to that or the hydrology studies that is associated with the moving target, with any development that comes around, that hydrology is going to be a constantly moving number, right? But you can't really rely on these FEMA flood maps. These things are horrible. These things they go back to the 80s, and they're using the old quadrangles, and the best they've done was throw in a black and white photo underneath that old firm map. Is all they done.
That's available so much, it's based on so much better
Data.
data to go into it. I thought FEMA was supposed to be adopting the DNR,
They kind of did, but the state is
but they didn't adopt it as the new FEMA map, so.
correct. So,
That's what I thought they were.
but
supposed to
they
be doing.
created language where you're supposed to use the best available data, so it's kind of confusing, but the state's taking measures with Senate Bill
To
242.
try to say, don't use the DNR best available.
Well,
Because the FEMA's, they're saying FEMA's official. Go with the FEMA unless your county has said.
now I'm
to
not
use best
highly engaged, and I'm not going and testifying, but our county surveyors association did go and testify saying we should keep the best available data language in place. But they're fine if they want to move it to the stormwater task force, which is just another group to maybe readdress this, but with some of what I heard during the discussion at the House Committee, I think March 22nd, 10:30 p.m. I think was when it was discussed. The homeowners are finding themselves in a floodplain that they never thought they were in. Some don't consider that they are in one, and it's creating onerous burden.
And is there no way to get out of it? Like with the FEMA map, you can do it for
A LOMA, a letter
LOMA to
of
get out of
map
it,
amendment.
but there's no official way to get out of the DNR best available.
Well, I think you
By
could
having
provide
a survey.
alternative
But you know what? I
information,
mean-
but I don't know about that. I just want to express what kind of conversations going on, that they are now identifying LiDAR within the language, and I know that the surveying profession uses that, and I'll let you share it amongst your peers or do what you want with the information, but I wanted to bring it to your attention that I see it.
As the best evidence. It is.
No, I see this as a way where it could potentially question other uses of LiDAR. And LiDAR, I think, has really created a way to do large scale projects in an efficient manner with creating better available data. And our former surveyor board member, Steve Smith, said one of his first jobs getting out of college was working for FEMA and creating the floodplain map. And he said, how much they sit there and use their educational judgment of how to determine that. So there's a lot of uncertainty in that too. So it's like really what's going on and how do we educate our legislators so they know exactly what kind of impacts they may come of this bill if it's passed. So I just kind of want to leave it there. If anyone's interested in getting involved, I can give you some contact information where they can really get you right there to start discussing this. If you think that your society, I'm not gonna reach out to them, even though I'm a member, that should be interested in this and take more of a focus on what's going on. I'll leave it upon others to do that. I might talk to Brian Catman one time about what his opinion, since he's highly involved with the foundation. But I just feel like it's something that needs to be discussed outside of the context of just DNR of how they're looking at LiDAR. So I'll move forward. I hope that comes out pretty clear. Like I said, this was all discussion yesterday at 3 o'clock, and I just wanted to pass it on today. So,
Ryan Sweeney probably needs to jump on board that one, you know what?
I think some people, I recommended
I have-
Frontier Geospatial because they do LiDAR for use cases, and some cases accuracy is relevant, in some cases it's not. And when it is relevant, they work with a licensed surveyor to create the proper ground control to do those flyovers. So it's like,
I mean, if you're tying into concrete or something, you need some real ground topo.
Yeah.
You can't use LiDAR for everything, but you're never gonna map the floodways of the entire state with anything better than LiDAR. That's, I mean, LiDAR
thought-
keeps getting better, so that's great,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna do that with the survey.
I could,
so yeah, I don't know what the
You
legislators are
gotta
gonna
have something
do.
big picture to do the whole
Mhm.
state.
And like I said, they're focusing directly on how the best available data DNR has rolled out. Uses LiDAR, and they're not necessarily questioning how others use it, but I feel like they
That's what-
relate.
That's what it's for. It's for what
I
the
know.
DNR did with it. It's
I
like
know,
the
I know.
perfect thing to use it
There's
for.
huge segments that are completely missed from the FEMA maps, so I'm concerned. I'm not concerned here locally because the city just went through measures adopting the DNR best available data and changing their ordinance and identifying that that's available. The county has adopted that, so here locally, we'll still be using that, but it does concern me for more rural counties or other counties that may go back to using just FEMA map, and that could really, cause some concern. So,
I'd sure hate to divide a piece of property and put somebody with a new lot that's in a floodplain based off of an old firm map.
right. That,
You know what I'm saying?
It'd be
I mean,
kinda
It would
crazy.
really be on us to just continue to use it
Yeah.
and tell people like,
Ne-
yeah, okay, it's not officially a flood hazard area, but
I know, I mean, you're going to always have those people that argue, well, it's not flooders and grandpa look here.
yeah,
I get it.
you get those, watch, if anyone's very curious, just let me know. I'll send you the link. The link is, it's very interesting to watch their discussion. Moving forward. Well, I do like to open it up if you have any questions. I hope you don't, since it's at 4:30, but.
Now,
would you have any-
let's keep trucking. We're not going very far. We're not very fast, Ron.
No, but we don't have an entirely long agenda, which was purposely done.
And we're going to table S21 again.
Yes,
because
and
Todd
I'm
is
gonna
not here.
recommend that we table S21. Todd did
like
send
make
a
a
little,
motion to table S21.
okay. I do want to read into what Todd said, and I don't know if this is really something we'll be able to preserve. He said he will not be here today, but I wanted to come out on S21. I agree with Eric that his recent survey establishing the iron pipe at the northeast corner has better supporting evidence than the rebar I held. Therefore, I would vote no on certifying S21 that I established by split. I would recommend the surveyor's office reach out to BRCJ and try to find or establish the stone shown on the attached BRG survey. I guess there might be an attachment to this. I am not sure it would change anything, but it could be strong supporting evidence. I know Eric and I both looked at the stone, but we're unable to locate it. So we have, I just wanted to read that.
I want to remove my motion.
Okay, you want to remove your
Okay.
motion?
Yeah,
What-
but I think seeing that S21 is the Smith Design Group cab rebar, and that Todd said he would vote no on that because there's a better rebar that Eric has.
I
don't
do
think-
not.
I don't think we need to table that. Well, I don't think we need to table this. I think we need to vote no on it because it needs to come back as a different,
Position.
completely different corner. We're not gonna end up approving this next time, but this is just done.
Well,
so,
the
right?
name is just S21, like if we brought another corner and it was S21, but if you said,
But I'm just saying this,
I-
this monument that's shown on this S21 should
Mhm.
really be voted no, not just tabled, because that's like more
That's
ambiguous.
kicking it down the
Motion
can.
That's more
to table
ambiguous.
until the different monument is used.
Well, somebody gonna, has got. to
Can we just,
perpetuate it,
can
yeah.
we make a motion to just not approve this record? That way it goes,
It goes away.
that way it doesn't show up as pending, you know, like,
I see what you're saying.
Because,
I think it's all semantics a little, because as far as. If we brought back a Perry S21 and it's calling out a different monument, it's still Perry S21, but it's calling out a different
but
monument.
if
So if
that's
we
like a
say no
new
to
thing, right?
S sort of, that's where I think it's a little
We're
semantics
saying
there.
no
but-
to this rebar at this,
So if you want to,
second that motion.
Okay.
okay,
To this.
There you go.
rebar at
That's
this
it.
corner.
I work for your pleasure here, so.
I think
Um,
there's no need to table it, yeah.
I would just specify what you're conveying in your motion.
I'm not
or-
saying there is no corner at S21 ever.
So
I'm saying it's not.
We're not
this
gonna hold
rebar.
Todd's.
let me see if I could say back the motion and if that is an
Yeah, say
acceptance.
it in a way that
Okay.
you like it.
So we are going to grab S21. We are going to deny the certification of the limes, of the found limestone with a slight hole
What?
in this.
No,
Oh, I'm on
S
slide
21,
Jeez.
S21.
Well, they're front to back.
Rick, your fingers is on the one.
There we go. Sorry about that. I got minutes, corners, okay. Let me retry this. Okay, we're going to say no to the certification of the 5/8 rebar with yellow plastic cap stamped SDG Incorporated firm 0101, 1 inch above ground. And we'll be looking for a the middle of Perry S21 identifying the corner that Todd Borgman had recommended if we can locate it due to the fact that Mr. Borgman has stated in his comments that I just read that he feels the split that he has done that had set the rebar that I just referred to does not have the same supporting evidence that he feels that the BRCJ stone, if found, does have.
wait, that does,
No,
sorry, that's not how I read his email. I read it as the stone that BRCJ had might be better supporting evidence for something that Eric had held. As opposed to this. So I was really just suggesting we just throw out this monument. Because Todd said he wouldn't hold it and he's the one that said it. So that's where I was thinking.
okay, yeah,
But
he
as
agrees
to
with the
what-
recent
as to what
survey
is
of the
the
iron
correct-
pipe, okay,
As to what is the correct monument, I don't feel like we're ready to say
no.
that,
So-
and that would be where tabling would come in, but I'm just thinking, well. But
Well,
we
you
know
wanna say no,
we
but
know
we
we're
wanna-
voting no to this,
So
right? So,
your motion is to say no to the 5-inch rebar with yellow cap stamped SDG as shown on monument record Perry S21 today. And we'll move
Revisit.
forward with looking at revisiting this corner.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
I just want to kind of stipulate because if you say no, are you saying no permanently? And if we find a new one, no, it's just.
No,
one.
I'm just saying it until somebody comes up with the correct solution. I mean, right now, we know that there's not enough to support this idea.
And well,
We can
I
come back
guess-
to,
yeah, it's interesting because we've always just tabled them. And I remember putting tabled on corners that date back to like
until
2000.
further proof, but we know after looking at the proof that this doesn't fit.
Yeah, because Todd just said he would vote no.
Right, no, I
He's
get
the one,
that.
So it seems different than,
But you really
maybe
want to just
later.
strongly bring his comments in. Okay, no, that's fine.
I'm thinking.
I don't think it
stone
prevents me
was
from bringing
west
it back.
I
It's
don't-
just,
absolutely
we've just
doesn't.
never
There's a
done
rock
it this
No,
way.
so
pile
you gotta
that we-
prove, deny,
we searched
table,
around it,
right? And
there's
table
no
means
stone
We'll
there.
come back.
not enough
So it's-
info, we'll
they're
come back
just
to this.
lost
And
cause.
we're
Yeah,
saying,
it's
no,
a
we
lost
don't need to,
cause, but-
Not
but
this
if you-
one,
not
but-
this monument.
Not, so
possible
we're saying no to
back
the
that
monument.
in,
No to
but
the
we're
monument.
Table in a
tabling
position for it, but you know, I just knew that when I
this
seen
corner,
this.
but-
I mean, no to this
Was
monument
not gonna be
record,
the right thing. for
but
the
not,
east.
not to the
So that
existence
has
of
this,
S
this
21.
line.
Donna, do you
way
have a
down,
motion there?
Is what's going on. So it
Yes,
was-
motion
again, it was at a different
to
location.
reject
An overlap.
the
Yeah.
certification of 5/8 inch yellow stamped SDG,
Rebar.
which will be revisited at a future meeting. How's that?
The rejection of monument table of, corners. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, just give me a stand.
No, we got it.
Yeah,
So
prove
if
it.
you, so if that's your motion, and it sounds like we have one.
We would never say that that you can't bring S 21 back.
Yeah,
You
the
can
corner doesn't
absolutely-
exist anymore,
It-
is what it sounds
Absolutely,
like.
we're just
No,
saying this
no.
monument,
No,
we're just
No, I know.
rejecting this monument, right?
And we'll do some research and try to locate the stone and hopefully that iron pipe and
mhm.
bring this back when we
Yep.
can. All right, so there's a motion. I will do a voice vote. All in favor of denying this monument and revisiting Perry S21, say aye. All right, moving
Yay.
forward. I've never done that ever in my 18 years, so I'm still,
That was a rough one.
I'm just gonna,
We'll
just
leave it
gonna
at
move forward.
That
Thank
was-
you.
But
No,
now
no,
it's done, it doesn't have to be back
I-
on the agenda next time.
exactly, it doesn't. None of them actually do. We're just doing a better job of bringing the table ones back.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, it's a fun one. But we'll move forward and geez, I hope I didn't distract myself where I'm too far off of following along. Okay, so for the public, here are the minutes that were approved. And here is Perry S21 that was just tabled. Here is the reference to the 5-inch rebar and SDG cap as discussed. Photos. And now that moves us to Van Buren Y17. Van Buren Y17. So.
And Perry 17.
Well, I was just, it has previously been certified. Okay, here's the agenda. I'm getting confused over here, sorry. All right, so. Y17. Has previously been tied off, and then Perry A17. So we're gonna be the offset corners. As you can see here, this one is for Van Buren Y17. We do call out Perry A17 on that same monument record. It was a found limestone with a slight hole in concrete. That's the one I was reading just a second ago. Let me get to the theory of location. All right, so Y17 on the theory of location. The stone was previously witnessed by Monroe County Surveyor Steve Vargas. I'm gonna go ahead and move to the previous one. So Edmund Steve Vargas, so, wait a minute. So we have a Edmund Vargas. Is this not in the theory?
It has Steve and Ed in the theory.
Is it just not linear? Okay, Stone was previously witnessed by Monroe County Surveyor Steve F. Vargas on July 19, 2004, using work provided by licensed surveyor Eric Decker. Before that, okay, the stone was previously witnessed by Monroe County Surveyor Edmund Vargas, as shown on this tie sheet in 1990. And then this is the one that was performed under Stephen Vic Vargas's administration in conjunction with Mr. Eric Deckard, land surveyor. And references on file is a Tracy L. McGill survey, location route control survey plat for proposed I-69 section 5 Victor Pike to State Road 48, 3rd Street. In 2013 is on file at the recorder's office. A Charles E. Graham plat in 2019, also on file in recorder's office. And Adam Christenberry in 2021, also on file in the recorder's office. So I open it up to the board. I guess I can go through my witnesses.
Do you want to go ahead and do A17 at the same, Perry A17?
Be a good idea.
Yes, I was going to just indicate this. This flipping back and forth does not work for me of understanding what page we're in on both sides. Sorry to be a little.
I think if they were
Okay.
just stapled, it'd be easy, but then you wouldn't mix
Be
them.
moving them
Then you
up.
wouldn't mix them up. I keep mixing them up. I turn it in.
No, I like saving the paper, so it's, I prefer this. So I just wanted to quickly say, Magnell was found 0.4 feet above ground, on the east side of a 11-inch power line pole per 2004 monuments. That's witness A. Let me go ahead and enlarge this so they can see that. Witness B, Magnell was found 0.4 feet above ground on 11-inch power line pole per 2004 monument. So we had two previous witnesses, and then we collected 3 other coordinates, and those witnesses line up with the historic ones. Is that on? So witness A, north 42 degrees west 4.9 feet is on the Vic Vargas tie, and that's witness C as being circled by my cursor. And then north 85 degrees east at 56.3 lines up very well with witness D. You have 56.2 here, so very good. So those monuments line up. We brought this to the board, and one of the bigger issues, and this is for Ms. Ozer, is when we were looking at this, there was a significant difference. And Mr. Deckard was kind of curious why the distance to B was significantly outside of the realm of acceptable. Jason went back, and Eric was right on. It was a snapping issue, so we just had to snap to the point, and then the distance is right in line now.
Ties
So,
just didn't line up.
yeah,
Okay.
so
It was like 29 feet or something.
And
So-
now it's 27.9 and the other's 27.8.
yeah, so right, what he has is 27.8 and what we have is 27.93. So thanks for the catch, and you know, that just happens when you're dealing with you know, those type of tolerances. So we'll move right to the offset corner.
Does anybody have the 2004 tie sheet for Perry A17? I have 2 copies of Van Buren. Y17.
It's after the Perry A17 record.
Is it?
Yeah, at least in my stack.
Mhm.
Is that what you're the one?
Like you said.
Oh, so there isn't one. There's not an Eric Deckard stamped
Right.
for Perry.
Okay, they had Perry A17 on the top of it.
This,
We got A17 here, but there was.
but it's not an Eric Deckard.
Oh, okay.
stamp. It's not that, it's a different,
I was so confused. by
like
it.
a different person.
That's just how we have them bundled together historically.
I'm,
So
I think I'm just confused, but can somebody clarify about the stone at A17? It says on this tie sheet that it was had a plus on top and it was a foot above grade. But then the current one doesn't have a plus.
Okay, stone panels. Which tie are
So
you?
I'm just
referring
still trying to figure out what's.
yeah, I just caught up. So yeah, we do have Van Buren Y17 in there twice.
Are you
Except for
referring
what
to
we
the
had
A?
previously tied off was
Well,
Edmund
this says no
Vargas.
X on it.
With no X, light. oh,
Okay, Perry A17. Whoa, golly, I'm so getting myself so mixed up right now. 19. The one from 1990 says 6" by 6" 1 inch out of the ground, no X.
Right.
And then the one from Stephen Farkas says stone width plus 1 foot above grade. Which is why I was getting confused because it says the plus. And it got almost a foot higher than the other one. But now the one that you have sounds like it matches the one from the 1990 tie sheet. So maybe it was just the typo on 2004.
Stone found, so what I'm looking at is Perry A17. Fieldstone, solid and ground with no X,
Yeah,
stone 6 by 6.
1 inch out.
1 inch out ground. And then what we have here is a
But-
6 by 6 limestone found.
Look at those two, that's what I'm saying, those two match. What you have now and the 1991 match, but look at the
Well,
Spic
that-
Farkas one,
Well,
it says,
It has the plus, yeah,
it says it has a plus and it says it's a foot up.
which-
but that one's like the one that's,
It's different size.
But that, yeah,
Yeah.
but look, it says Morse Creek Road, is that right?
Is it just a,
It says there on Morse
Oh,
Creek
yeah.
Road.
all the ties are totally different. So this is just gonna be a this just
Misprint.
shouldn't be in there.
No,
Somebody's mislabeled it in the past and. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
because that's not even the right location.
Good,
Good stuff.
so everything makes sense.
So that should probably be taken out. of history.
section 21.
Probably
Or-
figure out which, where
Where
this
this really
is,
does.
yeah, and then put it there. It might be in the right place already.
So
You know,
redundant.
sometimes you see it crossed out and
Right.
oh, yeah,
you just have to find Morse Creek Road and a new gravel driveway. New in 2001. Okay, so
what's the conclusion?
after all
of
this,
the
I'm ready
question?
to vote to certify both.
so the confusion, and I just want to kind of go over it just for
Bad
anyone
timing.
following along, is one. This was duplicated in the packet because. Point B on this one that was performed under the Vic Vargas administration, which we'll get back to that, and done by a licensed profession, surveyor, Eric Deckard, calls out B. So this was duplicated, it is Van Buren Y17. And then this one is Perry A17. It calls, this is from Edmund Farkas in 1990. And it calls out the stone with no X. And then we have another Vic Fargas, Stephen Fargas here, which this just seems like it's been filed incorrectly, and we'll need to double check that because there's two very illuminating points. One, Vic Fargas had contracted out Mr. Decker to do this corner in July 2004. And what we have here that looks like it just has accidentally been filed like this and not caught since we've looked at it again. And not caught by me because after I looked at this one, I just thought it was, I just thought it was redundant. So nice catch, Rachel, thank you. And we'll look into that, but this one was just labeled wrong and it has been inserted in the packet incorrectly. So there's the clarifying, and
Labeled wrong long ago,
you could
but
put,
recently.
long ago, it says Perry A17 and it looks like a typewriter. We didn't even necessarily have consistent naming convention through the different Fargas, Enright, and Friley administrations, but
Okay.
we're moving forward.
Okay.
Not bad.
Do you have a motion?
Oh,
I made a motion.
I second.
oh, really? I didn't hear that.
I motion to approve Perry A17 and Van Buren Y17.
Okay, we have a
For the
motion.
record, second.
Okay, and thanks for giving me some time to clarify what was going on, just in case there is someone out there that watches these. Donna is shaking her head adamantly, no. Not even our host.
Just me.
You watch them to get the thing.
I'm the only one that watches me.
I'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
I,
All right, motion passes.
Donna's notes this afternoon just looked like a big scribble. She's doodling.
You have to sometimes. All right, so moving right along, and yes, I lost my agenda again, so there we go. We are moving to new corners, so Washington E19. I'll go ahead, I have that right there for the public, and I'm gonna jump down to the fair location. So the stone was previously witnessed by Monroe County Surveyor Kevin Enright on March 17th, 2000, and accepted by the Monroe County Surveyor Review Board November 2nd, 2000. The 2000 monument accepted the stone per reports by Mike Monday. The 2000 monument record describing the monument as a sandstone contradicts a Michael Shepard survey land titled and performed in 2007 on file in the recorder's office. The Shepherd survey describes the stone as limestone. The descriptions match in every other way. And in 2020, the surveyor's office tested the stone with acid and determined it was sandstone. Other references on file is a J Bar survey, route survey for North Maple Grove Road in 2015 on file in the recorder's office. So really everything looks really nice. I'm not too surprised that, you sometimes get discrepancies with the stone type. That could be an easy, copy paste error, or, maybe not had the ability to test it on the field. Don't want to speculate, but we do have the ability. It was tested. And I'll go ahead and move to the witnesses. So the witnesses, witness B found a 20-inch sugar maple tree as per 2000 monument record. No magnetic signal was found. We actually had a conversation because on other tie sheets, we talk about finding a magnetic signal. And on this one, I wasn't sure if there was one found or not found. So when I spoke with our survey technician, Jason, about what had happened on the field, he mentioned that they couldn't find it. So moving forward, we'll indicate if we find a magnetic signal or if we don't. just so it's very clear. So I just wanted to add that comment, just so people are understanding kind of our continuous evolving our best practices of field work. So, and drafting these tie sheets. So with that, again, there was a found magnetic signal at a 0.6 above ground in a 22-inch sassafras tree per 2000 monument record. And then a found sugar maple as per 2000 monument record, no magnetic signal was found. That makes sense. I remember being on the field with Mr. Enright several times where at the last moment, he was like, you know, I really like that tree. Let's not scar it. Let's not set a magnel. So we will have a monuments that kind of have inconsistencies of kind of the standard procedure, and can't really give you any indication when it was determined that we were going to set a magnel or not set a magnel. And sometimes the field notes were already put that we set a magnel and he made the decision not to set one. So I'm not too surprised that, you know, there's one that has a magnetic signal and two that don't. Especially if you see they're both sugar maples. So maybe he just really wanted to not touch the sugar maples. That goes around. Can't really speak to it too much, but that was 5 years before I came into the office. He had tied that off in 2000. I'll go to the archive and then open it up for any questions. And if there's no questions, you're looking for a motion.
I've got no question.
We'll make a motion.
Motion to approve Washington E-19.
Okay, yeah,
Second.
have a motion and a second. I'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Can I jump in before you start the next?
Yeah, I'll just say motion passes and please go right ahead.
That last one we were talking about, Perry A17 typo, it's supposed to be Perry Y17. I just looked it up. It
Oh.
matches the ties for Perry Y17, but it's not the same tie sheet. But it's like the same tie sheet. So it's definitely the same corner.
It's,
So this needs to be relabeled,
okay,
Perry
so
Y17.
Y17, all right, instead of A17.
Yeah.
Makes sense, that's actually an easy
You read
fix.
that?
Thank you. And I thought you were just texting someone that, oh my gosh, Tron will not stop talking in
No,
this
I
meeting.
finished my review and agreed with your corner, and then I was ignoring you after that.
It was perfect. Thank you so much for taking time to dive into that. All right, we'll move right along and get back to my agenda. The reason that thing gets back in the stack of papers. All right, so we are now on Washington I-17. Right, yes, and I'm gonna go ahead and move this camera or move the video down. Let me get this. There we go. All right, so I will go ahead and jump to the theory of location, as I have the sketch and the aerial on the screen. The theory of location, the magnel or the mag spike was set by Monroe County Surveyor Kevin Enright on February 27, 2009, and accepted by the review board in 2009. Mr. Enright set the 3-inch mag spike after finding a magnetic signal of a 1-inch rebar under the asphalt and verifying its position using witness C per his 2009 notes. Before that, the 1/2-inch rebar was witnessed by Monroe County Surveyor Michael Friley on October 8th, 1993. Before that, the rebar was witnessed by Monroe County Surveyor Edmund Farkas on April 29th, 1987. At the time, Mr. Fargus found the rebar bent and pulled from the ground. The Monroe County Surveyor straightened the rebar and reset it. Before that, the rebar was set by Monroe County Surveyor Edmund O. Fargus on April 14th, 1982. References on file, McGill survey, I-69 route survey, done in 2013 on file in the recorder's office, Michael Shepherd survey, performed, in 2011 on file in the recorder's office, and, Eric Deckard survey performed in 2021 on file in the Monroe County Surveyor's office, or on file in the Monroe County Recorder's office. So with that. So I'm gonna now go to the witnesses. I think this is good. So the witnesses that we have a Magnell, so. Top of center cable box, we don't have that one, okay, so in witness B, we north 42 degrees, west 29.0 feet, Magnell found above ground on the east side of a 24-inch sugar maple tree as per 2009 monument. That one coincides with witness B, on the archive 2009 monument record, and that was north 42 degrees west at 28.9 feet to Magnell, so very close. Also, Magnell signal found on the north side of a 32-inch yellow poplar tree as 2009 monument. Pretty sure that will probably be witness C, right? Yes. But we have a PK now on the old tie, which I don't know if that would have been a typo or not, but you got it hit, so. But as far as the yellow poplar goes, if the old record says south 75 degrees east, 87.2 to PK now, and we kind of got those exact measurements. B was south 39 degrees, 14.9 feet to the 20-inch sugar maple on the archive. What we have is the same south 39 degrees east at 14.9 feet to a 22 sugar maple tree as per 2009 monument record. And witness E was a Magnell found above ground on the south side of a sugar maple, 19-inch sugar maple tree, and a protected nearby survey marker sign was found 4 feet above ground as per 2009 monument record. And witness E lines up with witness E on the previous one. And there's a little bit of a difference with the distance. We have what we have here is south 32 degrees east, 12.3 feet. What was archived was south 32 degrees east, 12.73 feet. So about 0.6 feet or 6 inches or something, right? About half a foot of difference, but that, I think that is kind of expected with our method out there. And then we had collected a coordinate witness 10 or 103025, and it was very close to another witness, so it was nice to collect it. And we have north 8 degrees 37 minutes and 4 seconds east at 22.37 feet to a 1 1/4 pinch pipe bound 0.4 feet above ground. So, oh my gosh, it's a mouthful. That's a lot of witnesses there.
I have 2 comments on witness B.
Yeah.
That shows the little nail on the southwest side, but it says it's on the east side. And on witness E, it shows it on the west side, says it's on the south side. And I think on the prior one, it said it was on,
Yeah, E can't be on the south side.
it can't be on the south side. So I think those are just two little, not something that would stop me
I
from
saw that.
approving the monument record, just something that needs to be checked in
Mhm.
the
Okay.
notes, probably a typo.
Would you,
It was B,
okay,
witness B. The description and the diagram do not match
Okay,
in
the
terms of
inside.
where the nail is. And then witness E is in Edward,
Mhm.
same deal, the map and the description don't match each other. And the description doesn't make sense on E. The map makes more sense.
On B,
E.
ooh, that's. Actually, I actually asked to add the fact that the protect the nearby survey sign was set at witness E, but we measured to the Magno. So should we
Oh,
just
and
strike
that's why
that?
that's why the distances are different, because one measured to the nail and one measured to the,
That's what I'm
side.
thinking,
yeah.
but it's hard telling. I guess, what would you want, how would we clarify that? Because I was thinking it kind of,
Well, you could just pull the notes up right now if you wanted, and we could clarify it as we're sitting here. Or we could make it a motion that you check it and fix it with the notes later.
Yeah,
yeah, I
I can-
prefer that. I meant like, as far as, should we take out the protect the nearby survey marker part on here and just put that in kind of
No, I think that's relevant to the description of that tree, that it has a,
that it has it, that's
Sign
kind
on
of
it.
why I thought
Yeah.
it should be part.
I think it's good to have.
Okay, so, but you were saying it seems confusing, I just was
No,
wondering.
just that the south, it says that the nail's on the south side of the tree. But if the nail was on the south side of the tree, how would you
How are
take
we
to
gonna,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Okay.
it shows it's on the west side of the tree,
Mhm.
which would make more sense.
all the prior notes on the reference ties, I'll refer to these as PK now. Just to be consistent, I see that some of them are the same ties, you know, you go back to 93. And even prior to that, I guess 87. Some of these ties remain the same. It's just that they're all called out as PK.
And I don't know what's going on, because then.
I'm assuming that
Mr.
it-
Enright came by in 2019 and he called them all Magnos.
Well, not all, actually, he called
He
one
called
the
one
PK.
PK, so I'm thinking
knew
he
that-
like just,
He might have replaced.
I think
some,
he ripped them out, yeah, I mean. I
or
don't
Put a
recall
night nail
being
over a
there.
signal for
Okay,
PK. He
okay.
could have, because
Yeah.
he does seem to be differentiating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in.
Well,
What if
and
we
I
had
highly doubt that you go all the way back to 1987. And that the PK nail would even be exposed.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should change witness C though, because that one says mag nail signal, but Kevin's tie sheet says he found a PK nail.
Yeah,
I can go with
So
that.
that should say PK nail signal,
but
or
you don't
just-
get a signal from a PK now,
just say signal.
just
Yes.
signal out, because we don't know what
You
it
don't
says
really
in
know what it's a
Magno.
signal of, since you didn't.
Okay, that
find
makes
it.
sense, and who knows? You know, if someone else came and set something that
Mhm.
wasn't documented,
Well,
it's a tough one for me to understand kind of. The inconsistency of PK and Magnos riddled through field notes and other monument records, because there's a lot of inconsistency of kind of. When they moved from PKs to
I'm
Magnos
gonna say probably in the 90s,
in the 90s.
early 90s, yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is see if we got. Build, okay, ooh, we're getting close to time. So here is Mr. Enright's field notes. So we started, any record that we bring here, we're starting to make sure we have a field book. Scanned, both the modern and any previous ones.
There it is.
So here is this. Sugar maple, and then. Okay, 3-inch magnets over top. Location using PK witness at point C.
Yeah,
This is over the location set a 3-inch, but that's
that's the mag
That's the
spike
mag
in the
spike.
road.
Oh,
Yeah.
here it is, mag nail in tree, PK nail in tree, mag nail in tree, sign on tree.
Yeah, he's pretty.
That was
clear-
Jason, I knew I wasn't
Yeah,
out
he
there.
was pretty clear at stating whether it was a mag or PK.
Yeah, because he even stipulated here, found PK. And he.
Yeah.
So since he didn't put any other found, so it seems like at some point they went from PK to mag, so
Mhm.
this doesn't really.
Maybe that's what he had
clarify
in his pocket
anything.
that day.
It does show you that, we're working with the information that we have and,
Yeah.
trying to present it in a way that is has kind of some standards with it, so.
Do you want to tackle this one, Rachel?
Yeah, sure, I do. I'd like to make a motion to approve Washington I-17 with the, what's the word I'm supposed to use? Amendment
Condition.
Condition, thank you, with the condition that the, side of the tree on witness B as in boy and witness E as in Edward are both reevaluated based on the field notes of the most recent field notes. And that witness C as in cat, the language is changed from magnail signal to signal, so strike the word magnail. And I have those notes written here in red, meetings.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Perfect. We'll try to tackle this last one, and after that, I'm gonna just ask if we can adjourn and. Am I correct on we are on M15? So close to almost the end there. If I would have just shut up there and off this update. All right, so we got Washington M15. I'm going to let you read as I get to the theory of location. All right, so the bolt spike was previously witnessed by Monroe County Surveyor Stephen V. Fargus on December 27th, 2004, using work conducted by licensed surveyor Ben E. Bledsoe. Prior to that, the bolt spike was set by Monroe County Surveyor Michael Friley in 1993 in order to replace a nail in nail and bottle cap. At the time, Bledsoe Co. verified that the nail and bottle cap was the monument held for this corner. References on file, Ben Bledsoe survey referring nail and bottle cap. Boundary surveyor for Yoakum in 1992 on file in the recorder's office. Then a Tracy McGill survey, I-69 section 5 route survey in 2013. Also on file in the recorder's office, and then Christopher Porter, survey, retractment boundary was performed in 2019, and that was on file in the recorder's office. So what we have is two archived records. First one dating back to Michael Friley in 1993. I will go ahead and zoom into the witnesses and say witness A was a Magnell and washer set. Witness B was found 35-mile-per-hour sign measured to the center point 5 feet above ground as per 2004 monument. So that would be the monument that was under Vic Fargus and done by Mr. Bledsoe, registered professional surveyor, licensed surveyor. And what we have is south 14 degrees east 17.5 feet, and that would be on B on the archived at 35 feet. So miles per hour sign, south 14 degrees east at 17.5. And then we have a fire hydrant that was found, on our current tie, it's witness C, south 44 degrees west, 70.1 feet to the fire hydrant. Per the 2004 monument. On the archive, it's south 42 degrees west, 70.1 feet from the spike. So that lines up really well, which is only that 2-degree difference, which, I think, is anticipated with the way that we were probably collecting it, and the way that Mr. Bledsoe was collecting it. And then finally, we have witness B, and it was a Bagnell and washer set, 0.5 feet above ground on the east side of a 13-inch power line pole.
They put new power line poles on.
I like how you guys said where you measured to on the fire hydrant and stuff. That's nice. And I like how you use the same letters as the
Yeah.
other one that made it easy, and I
Yeah.
don't have any questions on this.
That's right.
one Over here.
I don't either.
Okay,
So I'll motion to approve Washington M15.
Second,
all right, we have a motion and a second. I'll make a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right,
Motion
and
to adjourn.
well, first, could we motion to table Washington K-17 and Washington K-21.
So moved.
Okay,
Same time.
same sign. Is that a second?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, confirm that as a second. All right, all in voice vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, great. We're good. Thank you. I'll move to the public just to cover everything. I'm gonna look to see participant. Ooh, it's my office, it's me, and then it's TSD. No one else is here. And there's no public in the room, so no public input. Adoption of our next meeting date,
May 23rd,
May 23rd, which we won't be meeting May 23rd.
you're gonna be.
I will be on vacation. We may just. We'll come back with you, see if we're gonna do a May meeting. I have a May 17th prior engagement. I'm actually gonna go to Arizona and float down the Colorado River a bit.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
exciting.
Sounds refreshing.
So we'll follow up if we cancel the May meeting, that's fine. That's all I have. So I will move to adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
It beat you to it, Eric. All right, you're adjourned. Thanks, TSD, Andrew, for hosting. Appreciate that. You can shut us down whenever you're ready.